AITA for wanting to give up my son after discovering he isn't mine? I, 32 am shattered and don't know where to turn. My wife passed away last month, only 7 months after giving birth to our son. She developed peripartum cardiomyopathy, a rare and severe form of heart failure that can occur in the months following childbirth. Despite the doctor's best efforts, she didn't survive. Losing her so suddenly has left me heartbroken and in a state of constant grief. 3 weeks ago, my wife's best friend came over to visit. She was visibly nervous and eventually told me she had something sensitive to share. After some hesitation, she revealed that my wife had confided in her that she'd been unfaithful around the time our son was conceived and that there was a chance he might not be mine. I was stunned and angry. My wife's best friend was telling me this only weeks after my wife's death, and it felt like an attempt to tarnish her memory. I couldn't believe it. I told her to leave and not to come back, convinced she was lying or trying to shift blame onto me somehow. The whole thing felt like a betrayal, and I tried to push the thought out of my mind. But once the idea was planted, it wouldn't go away. I kept wondering, what if she was telling the truth? After days of tormenting myself with this possibility, I decided to get a DNA test. It wasn't an easy decision, I felt guilty for even considering it, but I needed closure. Yesterday, the results came back. My worst fears were confirmed, my son isn't biologically mine. Now, I'm in turmoil. I loved my wife, and I wanted to believe our son was a piece of her and me together. But knowing he's not biologically mine has left me feeling lost and betrayed. I keep looking at him, trying to feel the same bond, but the pain of my wife's infidelity is so fresh, and I don't know if I'll ever be able to move past it. I feel awful even considering it, but I don't know if I can raise him on my own. The betrayal I feel is overwhelming, and I don't know if I'm capable of giving him the love and care he deserves. It's breaking my heart, and I feel like a failure, but I also feel like I'm not equipped to give him the life he deserves. Edit, I hadn't thought of contacting the friend, but I will now. The replies have really solidified what I have been feeling. The child is innocent, but I don't think I'd be able to love or care for him as well as I should. Informing the family will be my first step, then contacting the AP, if possible. Adoption is going to be my last resort. Many of you may believe I'm a monster, but put yourself in my situation, I hope you all understand. Edit 2, so I called her friend, I apologized for my behavior, but also asked why she did not inform me as soon as she knew. She said her loyalties lay with her friend more than me. Okay, fine. I asked her about the AP, she said she doesn't know as it was a one-time thing. Apparently, it happened during her work time, whatever that meant, and during daytime as she'd been told. I mean, I'm not fully understanding, but it seems like she fucked a guy when she was supposed to be working. Many of you are suggesting I go through her phone or other social contacts, but I don't know any passwords. I never doubted her. We weren't controlling of each other, and had and gave plenty of privacy. The next step is informing the family, both mine and hers. I'm adding another thing, I don't hate the baby, and I'm not so deranged I'd throw him out of the house. Whatever happens happens according to procedure. I'm not going to instantly abandon a kid just because he isn't mine, comments. NTA. It's not the child's fault, you should tell your wife's family so they can take him. I worry if you raise him you'll always resent him. I'm so sorry for your loss, and your wife's betrayal. Please get therapy so you can heal. Best of luck OP NTA. Give her parents their grandbaby, comment. NTA. I'm sorry this has happened, unfortunately now he is a reminder of betrayal and a reminder that your life with your wife was a lie. It might be best to put him up for adoption or let your wife's family take him. You will never have the bond with him that you would have had if this truth had not been uncovered. OP, I haven't told anyone yet about the test. However, I think it'd be best if I do so immediately. Comment. Social worker here. Since OP was married at the time of wife's death, he is considered the legal father in the eyes of the family court. At this time, DNA has established he is not the biological father, therefore, he will need to have his parental rights terminated to avoid any legal responsibility to the affair child. OP needs to contact a family law attorney and start legal proceedings to identify bio-father and terminate his rights. Update, 4 days later. Thanks to everyone who reached out with advice and support. I didn't get to respond to every message, but I really appreciate it. After finding out my son isn't biologically mine, I decided to tell both my family and my in-laws. My family was shocked and angry about everything, but they stood by me. My in-laws were also shocked but didn't believe it at first. They asked to see the DNA test results, and after seeing them, they suggested we do a second test with both families present, just to be sure. They said that if it confirmed he isn't mine, my late wife's sister, who has a 4-year-old daughter, would adopt him, and I could take my name off the birth certificate if I wanted. I agreed, and we did the test yesterday. Results should come in about a week. Honestly, I'm relieved with how things are playing out. There hasn't been any drama, and everyone's been understanding. I've also talked to a lawyer who said getting my name off the certificate should be straightforward with the test results. Thank you all again for the support, and for those who offered to adopt him, I'm sorry, but your kindness means a lot. I'll update when the final results are in. Also, English isn't my first language, so I use GPT to help with formatting and phrasing. Comments. NTA. This is heartbreaking knowing the last living piece of your wife's memory is now just a reminder of her betrayal. Comment. It must be such a relief to have everyone on the same page and avoiding drama. I hope everything works out in a way that brings OP peace. Comment. I'm glad they are testing both sides of the family just in case a mistake happens at the hospital. Comment. Yeah, imagine if it wasn't the wife's either. I know a family who had this happen to them. Took a baby home and 9 days later found out they were given the wrong baby to take home. It was a nightmare. Comment. Wow. What happened after they discovered it? Were they able to get their biological child? Comment. Yeah. They didn't even realize it wasn't their baby. The hospital called them to let them know that their baby is back at the hospital and the baby they've got at home is someone else's. Turns out their baby got sick and they did a blood test, and told the parents that their baby's blood type does not match the one taken at birth. I think they cross-checked other babies that were born around the same time and realized it was probably this family. They all did the DNA test and when the results came out they swapped back. But there were plenty of tears and sobbing. The moms have been breastfeeding the babies and were both quite attached to the babies. I think the kids are about 2 or 3 years old now and last I heard about them they were still good friends.